You're listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers.
Presented by CMH Heli Skiing and Peak Performance.
This episode of the LPP is brought to you by CMH Heli Skiing, Peak Performance Outerwear, Fat Tire Amber Ale, RMU Skis and Mountain Culture Shops, and the official destination partner of the LPP, Kicking Horse Mountain Resort in beautiful Golden, British Columbia. Enjoy the episode. All right, now we're going. Cheers.
Ting.
Cheers.
Ting, ting.
Cheers.
Ting, ting.
Cheers. Oh, we got the Kiwis in the house.
Feels good. Oh, yeah.
I dig it. I like doing episodes at home because I was on the road so much this year. I'm getting really good at the portable studios. If you've been paying attention to any of the YouTube stuff, I always manage to like move a couch or get a light set up or have something in the background. It's like my hidden talent is like portable studios. And then when I get it home, it takes me an hour to get set up. So thanks for your patience.
Oh, all good.
I was like, oh, sweet, I just get to hang out. Although you don't seem to be too upset over there. Cedar's,
Oh, no. Found a new mate.
Cedar's found herself.
We're vibing.
Yeah, she's probably going, you guys got to have these on here all the time.
Yeah.
So we got Craig Murray. Welcome back to the Low
Thank
Pressure
you.
Podcast.
Good to be back.
And Finn, introducing Finn. What's your full name, my man?
Finlay Woods is my name. Yeah.
Cool. What do you do? Are you are you just like Entourage? Are you
I
like
just came
Craig's?
to give Craig a ride from Whistler to Squamish.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I'm just teasing. So you I'll have anybody on this show.
But he told me I was getting paid $1,000, so.
1,000.
Yeah, I just wanted some support.
Did he?
A fellow Kiwi. I just found him actually in Garth's last night. So
You know, like, Kiwis in Whistler Facebook page?
No, there's a Kiwis in Whistler Facebook page.
Yeah, we met on there.
Are you guys like the only guys on it? Because
I think there's 4.
Because I'm surprised the Kiwis understand how to use Facebook because they're like 10 years behind.
Yeah, well, we've
Come
only
on,
just
come
got dial-up internet down there. So
There was when I was down there. I was down there in 2003, and that was like right when Messenger was kicking off, and it was the only thing that I had to like communicate with people.
Yeah.
Up in Temple, it was Messenger at like 1 a.m. because the time change is different. No one would be up, so I'd go on and like Messenger.
well, there's this new thing called Gigatown where one of the towns now gets a gigabyte of internet per second of wireless.
Gigatown?
Yeah.
Per each town?
No,
Just
like
one, just the chosen one.
yeah, they had a competition. Yeah.
What?
And like no one could really like participate in the competition because the internet was so bad. So
Who won? In the
Dunedin.
Dunedin won, and they got a gigabyte of
Go to Otago Town, that one.
a gigaton?
Gigatown.
A gigatown.
Town,
Gigatown.
yeah.
Official.
And so what did they get?
1 gigabyte a second.
Oh, that's
It's not much when you think about it. But anyway,
and that's just for the whole town? Like, do they have to share it?
It's more of a city.
yeah, it's
more of a city.
I
One of our biggest-
spent a little bit of time in Dunedin. It's like a uni town, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 So I don't know if I told these stories. I don't know if I told this story before, but I stayed at this dude's place who stayed in like a uni flat, and it was just like what you expect. Like should have gotten torn down 20 years ago, but it's probably still there. Probably still has the same porno table, porno mag cut out and pasted on the table, just like that kind of dirty frat house, Kiwi house. And we would eat like toast for 2 meals a day, and then he's like, oh, let's go get some Macca's or something. And we would go and we get in the line for the drive-thru, and he's like, hey, last time I was here I ordered this and this and this, and it came with like there's no top on the bun or it had mustard. He told them that they made an error, and they're like, oh, we're sorry, we'll get you a new order. And they would give us the brand new order. So the first time we did it, we got like a whole bag of food. I was like, dude, did that really happen? He's like, no, I just wanted some free food.
Wow.
So we ended up, I felt pretty bad about it, like guilty about it, but also I was a traveler, had no money. So I was like, okay, I'm down with it. We ended up getting like a full bucket of chicken one day. We went to a different fast food place and just said, hey, you messed up our order last time. Is there anything you can do for us?
Wow.
And they replaced the entire order. That was one of my like experiences from Dunedin.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a incredible student culture down there, and a lot of rundown houses. The students are doing it pretty cold. They're called scarfies for a reason.
Scarfies?
Yeah. Well, it's an old term, but
Did you ever live in a scarfie?
no, neither of us were in Dunedin. We were in different student towns, but
Did you finish school?
yeah.
'Cause you were doing I think I didn't remember this just because your skiing ability overshadows everything, Craig Murray. When we spoke last time on the podcast, you said you were doing like a double major.
Yeah, just like an earth science degree.
Yeah. And did you finish?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When, like last year, a couple years ago?
End of 2020.
Oh, so you were pretty much right. I couldn't remember. I didn't re-listen
Yeah.
to the episode, but I was just reading my notes. Oh,
Yeah.
congrats! Are you
Thanks.
gonna do anything with it?
Hopefully down the line, I'd love to use it somewhere, but at the moment, doesn't really, like, it's not too conducive with my lifestyle and what I'm doing and focusing in the snow world. So
Do you find that when you're on like a mountain peak or something like that, and you're like climbing some rock bit, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is an igneous rock, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah,
Are you thinking about like the topography and the
so yeah,
and,
a lot
and
of the
like
time.
the makeup? Really?
Yeah, especially looking at different terrain, like you can see how it was formed, and you can, like look into. I don't go too deep into it on my general days in the backcountry, but
Just in your own mind, you don't say, "Hey, Logan, come here."
Yeah,
Start
yeah.
explaining him.
yeah, but it's cool. It was an amazing time studying. I'm so grateful I did. I met some really good friends there.
Has that ever affected how you like ski a line, or you approach a line, or you approach a face, or you approach like any kind of terrain? Is there any crossover there?
No,
Not when
no,
there's
you
snow
just
on it.
probably understand like what's going on under the snow more, but it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Right on. Well, we have a lot to talk about. It's been what, 3 years since you were here last time,
Yeah,
which
3 years.
we recorded right after the Fieberbrunn competition where you had won, and then you ended up like an hour after you grabbed a bunch of beers and you came up to the room. We had a nice chat. You had a lot
Yeah.
more hair then.
Yeah,
You were looking kind of like this back then.
yeah. I had a big mullet. Actually.
Yeah, big fat mullet. Yeah, it was impressive. And then since then, you have continued on with the tour, and then has started to do the shift, which happens to a lot of the Freeride World Tour athletes in the past. Is he spent 3, 4, 5? Was this your 6th year?
Yeah, this was my 6th. Well, technically, like 7, because I did junior year, and then a qualifying year, and then I've done 4 or 5 on the tour. But I had a year or 2 off. When
Right.
COVID hit, I just was at home and didn't travel because we weren't really.
That's
allowed
right.
to.
Yeah, 2021, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So let's say 6, just
Yeah.
for. Anyways, lots of years, half a decade on the tour, and as a lot of those athletes do, they transition into like film skiing, which you've been doing really well. Really,
Yeah.
really,
Oh, thank you.
Really, really well.
Yeah, a lot of credit to people around me as well. I've definitely been helped into that kind of realm, but
So
it's been incredible.
I want to talk about the transition. So you were on the tour for a while, and then now you've been filming with MSP for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
How did that all come down? Was there someone that you knew? Did someone reach out to you? Was it through a sponsor?
It was actually through Marcus Eder. He has shot with MSP for years.
Right.
And I think in like 2018, 2019, he just said to them like, you should shoot Craig. And
Right.
then I got talking to them, and it didn't work out for like 1 or 2 years, I think. Just like with my schedule and then COVID and stuff.
Tour schedule, COVID, you
Yeah.
live in New Zealand.
Yeah, and studying and all that. And then it kind of kicked off last year with Finlay actually as well. He was around and we went up to Alaska.
Because you've been filming. You're the filmer.
Yeah, I do a bit of filming.
Yeah, how does it feel to be in front of the camera right now?
I hate it, man.
you-
Being straight up, but
Yeah.
you know, a nice change. Try it out, see if it works.
He's getting a little fidgety.
Yeah.
Probably get kicked back to the other side pretty soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Anyways, so you've been filming. Like, how did you guys have known each other for a long time?
yeah. I guess kind of just like growing up in South Island, New Zealand, you kind of
I can tell that you guys have known each other for a really long time because neither of you want to talk about anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you guys were, I find that if you guys
Yeah.
were like business partners or film partners that you've known each other for like a little while, you would have things to start talking about with regards to like, oh, he's doing this or we're planning on this, because that's like the basis of the relationship.
Honestly, like most mornings, like Craig's in a different time zone, and I just wake up from a message from him like pretty much every day. So we're like pretty in touch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're
And you guys are
like
buds.
doing long distance kind of.
Yeah, the long distance relationship. But you know what I mean? The difference there is like, you know, when you have those people that they're strictly like they're buds, but their friendship was bonded over like projects and work and stuff. That's like what you guys are talking about, where you guys have known each other, I can tell, for so long that you just don't, you don't even care. You're like, oh, we should probably say something. I'm gonna have to pry it out of you.
Yeah.
But you know, but there's that comfort level there, which is
we're comfortable. Yeah.
yeah, which is
Yeah, shared sleeping bags and stuff like that'll do it to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys do top to bottom?
It's like cold down the mountain sometimes when we're shooting. So like,
Oh, so you're not even in bed. You're just like, hey, crawl in here.
Yeah,
I mean, I
any time of
didn't
day,
say
really.
that, but yeah.
Implied.
Yeah. No, so yeah, basically we've just kicked off a few pretty epic projects together, like in the backcountry and throughout the New Zealand Alps, and Finlay's also been charging in a lot of other ways in the film world, so it's been cool to like link up overseas as well, and we've been able to do a couple things together with MSP.
So you guys were buds.
Filming
So you guys were buds for a long time, and then were you already on that track? Or?
I guess I was like it works really well. Like, you know, Craig pushing his skiing, me pushing my filmmaking, and we were like mates. And then obviously I was trying to film and he was trying to ski, and sort of just started doing like small stuff, and it just grew and grew and grew, and like seems to keep growing, which is like pretty awesome. And
those are the best partnerships, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's like, oh well, we're already friends, and you're really good at this, and I'm really good at that. It's like when you get bands, when like one guy just is like, well, I guess I'll play the guitar and you'll play the bass, or you know, and they end up having the greatest band of all time. Right?
Yeah.
Just because like you know what he's gonna think before he thinks it, right? Like back to the relationship kind of thing is like, it's, I don't want to make you guys uncomfortable, but it definitely helps, right? Like those close friendships when you're when he's up on a peak or something like that, and he knows how you want to shoot him. And you know how you want him to shoot you, but you also know what he's going to do or how he's going to ski, but you also know the tone of his voice if he's uncomfortable or if he doesn't like it, but you can also be like, you know, shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean? Or like, no, you're good. You know, like there's no barriers really.
Well, yeah, we've got a no swearing policy.
Oh, for real?
Shooting, so
Oh, I like it. Explain. How did this come up?
We don't really, but I agree completely with what you're saying. It's so important out there to have people that you trust and that you know well, and especially some of the stuff we're doing, we're either super far in the backcountry or doing something pretty gnarly, or both, and like just having Finn there, and you know he's on his stuff and he understands like exactly, you know, what you're going through as well is like super important.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you have to make such quick decisions and stuff, and like when
you know there's somebody that thinks the same way as you, or you or you know 100% how they think, you don't even have to like worry about them making that quick decision, because you understand that like I'm good. You know, like when you go out, you know, say this year, you know, you went up to like, was it Great Bear Hilly or the Bellacoola?
Northern Escape, we're at Terrace.
Yeah, right. So you were up there. Did you get to go as well?
Nah, we're heading up next week, but
okay,
not on the first
right.
trip.
So you're up there and you're with a filmer that you may not know, like you know what I mean. There's like that different comfort level with, even though like you were filming with MSP with guys that are professionals, you don't understand exactly how they operate yet, because you may not, right? And
you just met them.
Yeah, it's different, right?
Yeah, but luckily, you know, I've been really lucky. I've worked with a lot of great people out there and continue to try to do so. Yeah.
That's a very political answer, Craig.
If like,
thanks.
If like I or we know that we're like at Craig's like hiking a big face or something, or like, you know, we got to give him a few like trivia questions through the radio just to keep his mind off like what he's about to do. So, you know, just stuff like that, like small touches that like you know, let's like kind of fuck with him for a minute or something, just so he's like doesn't have to think about this huge fucking peak he's climbing up.
Yeah, big fan of, you know, the like those little bits of chat here and there, or the little music through the radio, just to like remind you that you are out there and having fun and enjoying the process, even if you're
and is it like
precarious
a
situation.
little bit more like fun and light, or you'd like to do a little ball busting still, that kind of thing?
It's pretty light. I don't know. I can be sensitive, so.
Are you a sensitive guy, Craig? Is he sensitive guy?
Sometimes. So I think like these guys are very like, they're very good at just like giving me enough to like make me laugh and love it.
It's almost
if
like
I get pranked, then like usually it's some pretty good taste.
Oh, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. We got a good one. I got to ask you about. But do you think it kind of blends over into like a coaching role almost?
Nah.
Not
Craig's coaching me, man.
Not in the sense of like, oh yeah, you're dropping your hand on that section of the turn, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
if he drops his hand, I'll let him know.
But maybe maybe coaching is the wrong word, but like,
it's like mutual, like it goes both ways. Like, we're helping. Like it's just a team thing, I guess. You know, like.
Yeah,
he's doing the same back to us. We're doing it to him.
It's a team thing.
Like maybe I'm saying something about the skiing or like what I think, or whatever, and he's saying something about the video, like the angle or whatever, and like it's like one of those things that you just like elevate each other, which is pretty epic.
That's sweet.
And so like I guess in a way I'm coaching him, but in a way he's coaching me, and whoever it's like sometimes it's just us two actually filming, but like usually there's other people and it's just like the whole group, and like that's kind of like the coolest part about it is when the whole group's like helping each other out and you just like bringing each other up and stuff. Yeah,
sweet. That's so key, right? Comfortability in the mountains, hanging out with your buddies. Is there anything better?
No, I don't think so.
No. All right, well, I'm going to get back to the skiing stuff in a minute, but I want to continue on with this path. So you guys produced a film last year called Highway 73, which I absolutely love. That's what it's called, Highway 73?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, is that the actual name of it, or is that just what I'm calling it?
Yeah, well, most people get the number wrong, so you're doing well. Highway 69 and all that sort of stuff.
So Highway 73 was an amazing story that was really close to my heart. I loved it because I spent some time down there. Basically, it's documenting you guys skiing and doing a road trip adventure through Highway 73, which is in the center of the South Island of New Zealand, which goes from the Canterbury East Coast to like Greymouth West Coast, and along the way there are about seven ski clubs, like club fields dotted along the highway, that are basically family and community run ski clubs. The lifts are, I think there's two chair lifts in the entire valley or the entire road.
There's no chairs, I don't think.
Not in Porters, maybe.
Porters might have one of them.
Sorry.
But and then we'll call the Goods Lift one on Temple Basin. But it's all nutcrackers. So if you've listened to the show back in early years, we did a New Zealand LPP New Zealand travel episode to the club fields. They're operated with nutcrackers. They're operated by a lot of volunteer work, a lot of clubs, a lot of families. It's small, really awesome, wholesome core family skiing, and they've got some great terrain, and that was the whole kind of theme of the film. It's just to highlight that area. And I worked down there for a year at Temple Basin, so watching this film, I'm like, oh, I love this. How did that come about?
That one, so I grew up in that area, in Canterbury, like the Canterbury High Country. The region's called Selwyn, and it's just, in my opinion, it's the most incredible place. You've got, such unique like ecosystems and river valleys and mountains and peaks. It's like, and lakes and caves, all sorts of random things just like dotted everywhere. There's incredible mountain biking in the summer and skiing in the winter.
And then you can surf on the same day.
And you can drive over and get a surf. So
yeah, for context, this road is 4 hours from coast to coast on a proper day. It's about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And you can go, and I always used to say it's like Canada condensed into a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
You go from like the ocean to the plains to the foothills to like rolling hills to mountains to Alps to rainforest back to ocean.
Exactly. Like it's similar to BC where you've got that orographic effect where the weather hits the west coast, goes up and over, dries out, and you get those semi-arid plains, which we get as well. So it really does have everything. And the project really just came from my brother and I and a couple friends starting a bus. Like, we built a bus out.
Right.
And then I was just like, what's the coolest thing I could do with this bus? And it was just a road trip through, you know, that area. And all of a sudden it had some momentum. I was talking to Finn, talking to a couple friends, talking to a couple sponsors. And next thing we knew, it was kind of, really built some speed and we were on the road. Well, it wasn't quite that simple. There's a lot of moving parts there. We were like painting the bus
like the day before. The gal had his like granddad's spray gun out. It was like, it was a big shift.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, what came together for that trip was wild. So many moving parts, and logistically just, pretty incredible. But when we did hit the road, I think you were like sick as a dog.
I was super sick the whole,
Finn was crook and just sleeping in the back. There's like beds set up in the back, so.
COVID the whole time?
Nah, was this no, when was this?
Yeah, it was COVID. 2021.
Maybe.
Didn't get tested.
Anyway, but we hit the road up from Wanaka, so we had like a 5-hour drive to get in position, and then it was all on, and people started feeling better. We got good first day. Carlos and snowboard crew was up there at Olympus, and then we went through the clubbies and Craigieburn Range and finished at Temple with a big dump.
And you had a solid crew with you as well. You had Jamesa.
Yeah.
You had Manu. You had the Porteous brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had Chris and Matt behind the lens as well, which was all time really.
It was such an epic crew. Like, big shout out to Chris as well, because I guess me and him filmed it together. So
Chris
Monsell.
There you go.
Yeah,
another Kiwi.
So this is your first like film project that you've undertaken, correct? First major film project?
I'd done like a couple little ones before. I'd done one with Atomic, like 2017, I think, my first year on tour, or 2018, called New Ground.
Okay.
And that was, just around like my first season on tour. And then I was part of one with Seb Vile called Southern Alps, which was also shot at Temple a bit.
Yep.
And then...
Greatest, awesomest little resort of all time.
Yeah. And then I think our bus was just a catalyst for more adventures and more missions. And the reason behind getting the bus was kind of like, we've got so many friends and such an amazing friend group that anytime we'd look to go do an adventure, would be driving like
two or three cars.
Yeah, 3 vehicles. And we're like, well, let's just get a bus and fill it with people, fill it with gear, and just take one vehicle.
Right.
And it's fun. Like, you're on the road and hanging out in the back. The driver's like hanging out with someone at the front, and the other people are like playing cards, or it's just full. We kept all the windows in, so it's like a big, there's a lot of glass, and it's just like a big flat screen TV, just watching nature go by.
And I've said this many times, like everybody on their bucket list should do a road trip of the entire South Island. Just drive. It is so gorgeous. The driving and the scenery, no matter where you are, is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. So the film itself is really, really well done. Like really, really, really well done. Edited really well. The soundtrack, I was telling you, I really enjoyed as well. Like it had a really fun like vibe to it. So kudos to you guys for that one. I highly suggest everybody check that out. Where can they find it?
Yeah, it's well, firstly, obviously big hats off to Finn and Chris for putting all that together. They really hit it out the park and did such a good job with all of it, from the editing, filming, sound, color. They nailed it. So it's pretty incredible to have a film like that to actually just remember the trip with, because we had such an amazing experience over those 2 weeks with our group of friends.
It's like a photo album. It's like way better. Yeah, it's like right?
Sure. Yeah, for us it's like such a personal thing, but to have like an incredible film and high quality film that's, like won awards and stuff.
Right. And and it got nominated for quite a few at IF3 as well. And like listening to you talk about it, you just you're so humble and you downplay how good it really, like when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, Craig, Like, did not expect that level of quality just because you're just so mellow about it, calm about it. Like you're not a hype man for yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I watched that, I was like, holy shit! Like, this is really, really good.
Well, I think it's pretty like deserved for Craig. Like, he definitely put in so much work on it, like both behind the scenes and like on the trip, and like
Right.
I think the skiing is like definitely what really like pulls it through, and like like the end segment at Temple Basin, like
So good.
it was like pretty special to see the boys skiing like that, and like it was pretty awesome.
Okay, so I met and hung out with Miguel Porteous in Czech Republic last year, and we were trying to record an episode on like T-bar laps of this little resort when we were there.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that trip. Yeah. And he was telling me about near the end of the trip, you guys got shot at. And I was like, wait. He didn't actually get to tell me the story, because I'm like, we need to get this properly. So it's been in my head for a year, and I need to hear this story of how and why you guys are getting shot at. Were you trespassing?
Nah, we
were on our way home.
Yeah, we didn't do too much.
So tell me the story. Like, set it up for me.
Okay.
And are guns even allowed in New Zealand? Hunting, probably rifles.
This guy wasn't meant to have it. You can, if you have a firearms license, you can have.
Like, it's pretty common for like people to have guns to go hunting and
So set this up. You guys got shot at.
Okay, so it was actually there's a bit to the story.
All right, this is long form.
Okay,
entertainment.
We'll go long form. So before the trip, we were trying to line up weather, because it's super hard to get it in New Zealand. Like, there's so much going on. Like, we get slammed by prevailing, like, from the west because of the roaring 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So our wind and weather and temperatures are all over the place. So it's really hard to find a good window. So we found this window, and it resulted in starting with a little post-storm, and then having like a week of bad skiing, and then finishing with like a great, cold dump. And to my credit, we nailed the weather window. Like, it was lining up absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
We'd gone to Temple, slept in the car park, been dumping. We drove the goods lift up, walked up there, started building jumps, and it was like the best I'd ever seen it.
Yeah.
And it was this like crazy 1 in 10 year storm, and we were just like in the pot of gold. That was crazy. And then we go into the lodge, have dinner, getting ready for a big few days coming up, and the government announces that we're going into a level 4 lockdown.
Right.
So that means that there's nothing happening for at least 3 weeks.
Oh, no.
And we weren't allowed to ski. We had to leave the mountain, everything. And all over New Zealand, there were people like... Well, I mean, it's not a big deal in the scheme of things. Like, skiing is just a small part of it. But it was just funny how incredible this storm was. And then how like we were like in this amazing position, and then all of a sudden just been flipped on its head.
And it was like 4 days of like clear skies and cold temps, which like doesn't happen that often in NZ. This, and so the snow was gonna stay good, which is like
you get a snowfall and it's good for 2 days, and then it rains, and then half the mountain washes away.
Can be like good for a morning.
Not even if you get a morning, you're lucky. And then so anyway, we walked down, which was quite demoralizing, but we're also just like, it was such an incredible storm. We were admiring it, but it was hard to leave, that's for sure.
We were like pretty invested in like the project.
And by that stage, we'd been on the road for 2 weeks. We were literally at the crux. And everything was lined up. But again, like, who knows, maybe something would have gone wrong or whatever. So we didn't take it.
Better that than something else, like something like someone got hurt or something,
Yeah. But so then we drove back down, and we were on our way driving home, because everyone had to go home in level 4. You're not allowed to do anything.
Right.
Like, you literally have to be a hermit. And we got pulled over by the cops, and they weren't happy at all that we were like off in the middle of nowhere, and
in this like bus.
Yeah, and a bus.
Party bus?
With like 7 of us.
And
And
like a motor on the back, and like it was like pretty much a target, really.
Did he not think you were on your way home, or did he think you were doing?
They didn't want us to drive anywhere. They said we were unsafe, and anyway, we weren't allowed to keep going home, so we had to get put in this campground, and
for 2 weeks
till the end of lockdown, which was like
ended up being 3 weeks after that.
Yeah, it could have been 2, it could have been 6. Like, we didn't really know.
Anyway, but we took it in our stride. We went to the local supermarket with our masks on, got our supplies, went to the campground, set up. And I was just liaising with the campground owner, and he was happy for us to, go on our own spot and be away from everyone, etc. I'll let you take it from there if you want.
So yeah, we sort of like rolled in to the campground, and like there's like we just said, he'd talk to the campground owner, and then must have talked to the cops and whatever. Like it was all cool.
Yeah, he sorted it out.
But one of the guys who like lived full time at the campground was like, this was like his bubble, and we were like,
oh yeah,
getting into his bubble. And
did he live in a camper, like a trailer?
Yeah. Trailer park boy.
Yeah.
And he said a few things to us that definitely didn't make us feel welcome, and kind of let us know that it was his bubble and whatever. But we were like, we didn't have a choice, so we
kept a distance,
but
respected his space.
We actually moved from there. We moved to our own paddock, so we were like 200 meters away from everyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
So we moved further.
Either way, it was it wasn't really, we weren't getting on with this guy, and it was all good. We moved away, it was sweet. And I actually woke up and had a nice morning, and kind of like, it was like full springtime, and we were like chilling in our shorts and stuff, and it was pretty nice to like
some yoga.
Yeah, had a bit of a wholesome morning. And as the day went on, me and Miguel were kind of like, maybe we should take the drone for a fly, just for something to do, and
you put the drone up?
We put the drone up, just check out the campsite and the surrounding areas. And the same guy sort of comes storming out of his camper. Obviously saw and heard the drone go up, and he's like, "Take that fucking thing down before I do," yelling at us. And I'm like, shit. So we take it down, because we're obviously like trying to be like pretty well behaved at this point, because and we bring it down. It's all good. We go back in the bus, and we're like, man, we should go apologize to that guy. Like, we're trying to we're trying to keep the peace here. We don't want to like upset anyone. And so Miguel goes over, and the dude just like walks out from his like trailer with his gun, and Miguel's like,
what kind of gun?
About to say sorry. I don't know. It was some sort of rifle. Yeah. And Miguel's like, oh, I'm really sorry about it. And he's like, I don't give a fuck about you, and all the stuff. Points the gun at him, and then over his shoulder, and then lets a shot off.
He fires it like at him. I was expecting like you guys are like driving and they're shooting at the van.
It was kind of like over his, like not at him, but like
a warning shot at him, but not at him.
At him, but not at him.
Still.
And it like happened. So
were you with him, or was he just by himself?
Well, we were like 20, 30 meters away from him.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
So you're watching this guy point a gun at him?
Yeah. But it all happened so fast, and Miguel came back, and we were like. We're just kind of like, what the fuck?
Time to leave.
And then after, and then like, a couple minutes went by, whatever, and we're like, holy shit, like that's pretty gnarly. He just broke like a lot of laws.
Yeah.
So we, ended up calling the cops, and they did like a kind of big invade. And
they invaded? Like they raided raided his camper?
No, they didn't raid his camper, but they like it took them, we were on the phone for probably like an hour, and they like came around the whole premise and came in and whatever, and it was all like, he wasn't too aggressive towards them or anything.
No, but it was definitely a pretty crazy situation. And we, after he had shot a firearm, we were like, that's way beyond us. So we just got the police involved, and we just said, look, there's a guy here, he's really distressed and he's got a firearm, and then they took it from there and kind of came in and with a few teams, and they just like assessed and
did they
stabilize the situation. No.
Were you guys watching the whole time and like
kind of? Well, we just like we just kept together.
Yeah, because you're like,
in the bus,
that guy
kinda,
just fired a gun at us. Like,
yeah.
well, I were some of you guys like, we should go fuck him up. But the other half of you like, we gotta get the hell out of here.
Nah, we
Everybody
were
was-
just, yeah.
Because
We're just like, I hope he isn't like...
It's kind of shocking, right?
Stalking around in the bushes and like eyeing
Yeah.
us up while we're in the bus. But
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
all good. Like,
yeah, he obviously was just trying to scare us, like,
Yeah.
more than anything.
I think
but
he just felt threatened, like us being in it. Like that was kind of at the time when COVID was still like unknown, and it's like what's happening. And I think he was just like a bit scared of what could happen if we had COVID. That's
Right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah,
What's worse, getting COVID or shot in the face?
but yeah, and then they kind of came in and stabilized it, and they actually couldn't find the firearm. He somehow managed to.
Did he?
They never found it.
Come
But they
on.
brought in, like, when we were leaving, they brought in
The dogs.
like, what are they called? Special dogs to like smell for
Yeah,
firearms.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then they also found like tear gas, which I think they charged him for. Like, he had possession of tear gas, and he actually had a drone in his camper as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
What a kook! So did you guys stay there?
And then that was kind of the funniest thing because we kind of went from like this 10-year storm, having this jump, to like getting kicked off the mountain, like being like fuck, and then we're gonna be in this like campground for like, you know, it could be 6 weeks, however long, and then they're like, what are you guys even doing here? And then we told them about how we ended up there, and then they're like, just go home, just go
and
home.
they just sent us home with a
on our
letter.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we got stopped, to just let us keep going.
Yeah.
So then we got home, and yeah, and then like the rest of the winter was kind of done after that until this crazy. It was like in October, so that happened in August, and then we were just like, no one was skiing for ages because it was level 4 lockdown for 4 weeks, and then level 3 lockdown for 2 weeks, and you can't leave in level 3 anyway. You have to stay in your town,
Right.
and then level 2 lockdown was coming, all things going to plan, and this crazy storm was coming as well. So
Super late season storm.
super late, like, and usually if it snows at that time of year, it's like,
It's heavy and gross.
it's heavy, gross, and like Finn was saying, it's good for a morning.
Right.
Anyway, we were like, okay, last chance to wrap this up where we left it.
Oh yeah.
Let's try and get back to Temple and capitalize on like whatever the storm might be. So we drove up. Unfortunately, the Porteous brothers were training for the Olympics, so they were in the half pipe and couldn't come. But luckily Manu could come along, and we picked it back up. We were late, actually. Like, we missed the storm, and we were walking up the track to Temple. You've got to walk up from the road and send your gear in this goods lift, which is pretty exciting. But we were walking up the track, and there were people walking down just going, oh, it was so
that's
good. You guys have, like, you've missed it, and, like, Bill's was
Yeah.
amazing today.
It was like a school group of like 30
It was
or 40
I think it was
people.
the Cusk Uni group.
So we had to like pass like 40 people at least
Mm.
going the other way, with every single one of them telling us we missed it.
Yeah,
And they
how-
did the
how
rope.
good it was.
They hadn't cut the rope yet at that time in October.
No, it was still the ski. The ski field was still running.
Wow.
That was just before they closed. Like, we went and did that trip,
Yeah.
and then they literally shut the day we left.
Oh, okay. And then they probably didn't cut the rope. There's like, maybe we'll get some more out of it. And then so
Yeah.
you get up there, everyone's like, oh, boys.
Yeah, and we were like, oh god, like we've
Yeah.
missed it, and to get there we had like to do a lot. I think it took us like 1 or 2 days of just frantically getting everything together, and then driving for 6-7 hours to get, and then walk up for
45 minutes to an hour.
yeah, and then we were in position, and we're like, oh, like trying to keep morale high, but these people were just telling us how good it was and how we missed it.
Yeah.
And we might have honestly, like in Bills, we might have missed a little bit, but we just were like, oh, well, we'll just go see what we find. Woke up the next morning super early in the dark, ran the tow, got up to this zone called the Minga.
The mega, yeah,
And-
off the back,
Yeah,
of downhill
and
toe.
it was banging.
Yeah.
We like scored
Yeah.
it. It was like
yeah.
new Kiwi spines and all sorts of crazy stuff, and honestly we couldn't believe it. It was still cold. There was just like this southerly airflow that just kept pushing in and keeping it cold, and we just worked 2 zones over in the Minga Deception that day, and then we came back over, built a jump in the like kind of warming pow.
You guys did those lines in the morning,
Oh yeah,
and then we built the jump.
yeah.
But like before taking it back to the first day, Manu lost his ski,
Oh, that's right.
and it just boosted off way down into the Minga, which is like the backside of the resort. Like,
it's
essentially no man's land.
Yeah,
Full
it's
backcountry.
it's a full mission down, and it's a even bigger mission out.
Yeah, and his like brake didn't come on or whatever, and just the ski was out of there. But it ended up being like we found this sick zone and like a sick jump and some cliffs, and like we called it Manu's mistake, and it was like ended up being super
Because he went to go
super
get
positive.
his, get his ski, and like, well, look at this stuff. Because you don't really spend a lot of time down there. You usually drop in and do a couple lines, and you get right back up to the ridge to get back to the resort. So a lot of people don't spend a lot of time looking around back there. So you found a bunch of new zones.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it. I remember skiing my first run down there to like go see the ski, and I just got on the radio, and I was just like, couldn't believe it. I was like, BC, dude. I was like, it was wild. Yeah.
And then the next day was like, honestly, one of the best days skiing I've witnessed, I reckon. Like, the guys did these huge lines.
Did you get to do any lines, or you're just filming in the whole thing?
No, we were strictly business that trip, man. We had to finish the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, the boys did the lines, and we built this jump, and Weezy did, I think, 4 hits. 3 of them straight in the film, just clean.
Yeah.
And then one huge 180. That's
Switch.
And then Mano and Jamesa kept hitting the jump, and Weezy went off and climbed up the pyramid, which is like the first shot of the opening segment. I'm not sure if you can remember, but it was this like psycho. And Jamesa were like, Jamesa like, do you want to go with him? Just like make sure he's sweating. He's like, bro, I'm not climbing up that fucking thing. And then Weezy got that at like last light, and it was like, pretty insane day.
So I had to wait for that as well, like that. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Well, you probably do remember. You were standing behind the camera, probably freezing, but it was like 2 hours, and the clouds were coming in and out. We couldn't quite get it line up a window with the drone batteries, and I had 7 GoPro batteries, and all of them died before I dropped. And the drone was crash landing.
They were cold. There's like me and Chris. Like,
you didn't have one like in your
dead.
Underwear.
No,
you gotta sew
it was like quite a while up there.
And
cold. But like me and Chris, like when the guys were doing the lines, like one of us would be shooting sticks and the other on drone, and so we had obviously the drone in the air, and we just killed all the batteries before the light got good. But then it got good, and so we're both shooting on sticks, and Jamesa had to like crash land the drone. It was just like fully out of battery.
On sticks, which is like a tripod?
Yeah, a tripod.
That's what we call it.
And so you can hear in the back of the shots, like as Craig's skiing this thing, the drone battery just beep beep, and Jamesa like, fuck, how do I do this? Like it was all go for a second.
And that's the opening shot of the film.
That's the opening of the ender.
Of the final segment.
Yeah.
So it worked out. What a
we
epic
got so
story
lucky.
For a really cool project.
Yeah, honestly, it's incredible, and I mean, thanks for the opportunity to tell it as well. We haven't really we've debriefed with the crew and personally, but a lot of people will have no idea like what went on behind the film.
Right, a lot of stories to tell about it.
Yeah, there's like, I mean, it'd be nice. Like, it's just so you can't just fit all of that stuff into 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's
there's like so.
You gotta do like a behind the scenes blog. Like how awesome that probably would have done better than the film. Just having like the behind the scenes blog. Like we just got shot at. Like it's like a let's turn the phone around. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Man? Well, none of that was in the film, and it was also like touch and go because like I don't know, it's a pretty crazy situation, getting shot at and stuff. So we kind of like we were
to like have it, what a nice way to end it, right? To have to go through all of that, like, oh come on, it was so good, and then we do this, and then we get stuck, and then we get shot at, and then we finally turn it around. We have this one like glory 2 days. Like 2 days of glory to finish everything. Like that's a pretty cool way to wind up a fun project.
Oh, for sure.
So now you have another project which will be out next fall.
Yeah.
So did you get shot at on this one?
No.
Perfect. All right.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. So you did another. You've already said you filmed it last. So you basically are filming them in the New Zealand winter, which is actually really cool because you've got these cool New Zealand stories coming out.
Yeah.
You can spend time at home. You can do these fun projects, but then also it doesn't really take away from what you're doing here in like Northern Hemisphere winter, which is like your bread and butter. That's your job, whether it's competing or whether it's filming for MSP and stuff. So it's cool to be able to do those passion projects, you know, at home while still being able to, you know, put your full effort into, you know, the ski stuff that you get paid for, you know, like your sponsor stuff and big film companies and things, while being able to balance it with something cool with your buds.
Yeah, well, I guess for me, like, I'm really passionate about that sort of stuff as well. You know, that's something that I put a lot of my time and energy into, and yeah, I guess I don't like see one thing or other being like more or less important or valued. I'm really lucky to have sponsors that support me through, you know, everything I do, whether it's like some of the youth camps and mentoring stuff we're doing, or film projects, whether it's my projects or participating in other projects. Like, it's been incredible.
It's all
support
part
part
of the journey, right?
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to like mix it up a little bit too.
Exactly, sure. And I'm a huge advocate for like having lots of different things on the go. I think if I was just skiing or like just doing one thing, I would get burnt out and, you know, lose some of the love for it. So diversifying is key, I think.
Yeah. So you said you've already filmed most of this next film that's coming out?
Yeah, we filmed, all of it was 2022.
So last
winter.
So last year, our summer, your winter.
Yeah.
And then, so what's the process now? Are you just putting that together? Or what
stage
of that film?
We've got like a rough draft at the moment, and be working through that next wee bit, and it'll probably be coming out in Northern Fall this year.
So what's the vibe? What's the kind of the summary of that one?
I guess coming off the back of Highway 73, we were feeling pretty good after that, and me and Craig were in Alaska shooting with MSP, and we decided to like do another project. So started brainstorming, and we thought it'd be cool to like, obviously with Craig skiing, like lends itself pretty well to skiing big lines and hunting out some big new unskied lines in NZ. And so that was sort of the basis of it, and through that we had like a couple different segments, and one of that is like we rode horses into the backcountry to have a different means of transport to access new lines.
Did you use horses in the 73 movie too?
We did, but just for like a couple joyrides.
Right, okay. Yeah. And then this one is like full horse travel to gnarly unskied lines.
Yeah, it was a full like 7-8 day expedition, really. Yeah. Crazy logistics again. Like, it was super wild. But
big shout out to Derek Douglas Deans there.
Yeah, so basically we came up with this new project, and a lot of it stemmed from some zones we had in mind in New Zealand. We're like, we know some of these lines are here, we know they're not skied, but getting them is going to be super hard.
Right.
And then we were also like, what's something else super fun and crazy and creative we can do? And
it's going to make us stand out.
We talked to our friend Derek about this concept of riding horses into the backcountry, and he just went, yeah, let's do it. And he was kind of the man that made that happen, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
He like had all the resources, and
like welded up this rack for one of the horses to carry all the skis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you have much experience with like horses and things like that, or just like did the idea come into your brain from that little experience you had last year?
Yeah, honestly, I've been terrified of horses my whole life, and then right through my childhood, and then in Highway 73, Derek chucked Miguel and I on a horse, pretty much just slapped them and said, good luck, and we just took off down this airstrip. Like, I'd never really ridden a horse before. Maybe I'd ridden like a pony at a birthday party or something, but I just like went from this terrified state of horses to just being like almost at one with them. It was crazy. I just couldn't believe.
Would you say flow state?
Yeah, complete flow state. I had to really focus and like try and figure out what this horse was doing, but Miguel actually got tossed off.
Oh no!
Yeah,
and you know the saying, pace. Always get back on the horse.
So he got let me just. I gotta talk to this guy. So he got shot at. He got bucked off a horse.
Yeah, it was all go. And after that, I just kind of saw how incredible they were as animals and how you could work with them,
right.
and they're so intelligent, and yeah, kind of just stem from there, I guess. Like these, the whole project was
and so I guess that was like one aspect of the project, and then we had like a little bit of beta on these like big lines that like no one's scared in NZ, and they're pretty hard to get to, and no one really goes there and stuff, and so we did like full recce flight and scouted them out, and that was kind of like the big main objective of it.
Cool. And what's the film going to be called? Do you have a name for it yet?
It's called at this stage Terra, Incognita, which is terrain unknown. Which because basically what we're trying to do is do some new stuff in NZ, but also have some fun with it. And had a good like few days camping in the hills, building some jumps as well, so that's in it. And
was it a successful mission?
It was,
It was, I would say yes.
However you gauge success.
Yeah.
I guess, it'll be pretty like evident in the film.
You'll have to watch the film to find out.
So what stage of the process are you in right now? You filmed it all. We're
like first draft set, so
So basically, Finlay's working super hard.
Yeah,
and
Craig's laptop just happens to have broken down right now. But it'll be quite a few hours in the editing bay, and lots of work actually.
So then, when do you plan on having it finished, and when do you like start submitting it? And is it a film that you guys are funding on your own? Like, is it some of your ski sponsors? Who's kind of involved?
Yeah, so we're really lucky to have a few of Craig's sponsors, Atomic Park, Mond, have like put in for it, and also like a couple of the regional tourism operations in NZ, Selwyn and Wanaka Tourism. So we've got some funding through them, which has been pretty awesome. Yeah,
super cool to have the support from the regions as well, because that's where we're shooting, and it's like these beautiful places that we can show off. And
that's what I love about this, is it's local, but New Zealand's always been known as an adventurous place, but you don't really get a lot of projects like this specifically focused on New Zealand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really cool that you're kind of keeping it all tight, but being able to put out like a level of quality like this, and level of storytelling that's like up here.
Yeah. Well, we do our best, and we are.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't seen the film yet, mate.
I've seen a lot of you sent me a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
I've seen some of it. Like I was telling you, I was listening to it. I was listening to like Spotify on my phone, and I turned it off, and I started watching some of the clips.
That's right.
Some of the clips that you sent me. So it was like this, like I was listening to some weird like Spanish marimba kind of music, and it was going along with the film. And I was watching it, and I'm like, this is a really strange choice of music, Craig. And I'm like, but it kind of works. But I was trying to figure out like the connection to it. So I was like looking at the stuff that you sent me, like the stuff I was reading, and I was watching it. I'm like, why would they choose? Because we had this conversation about the music in Highway 73, which I really liked, and it went well with the film. And I was trying to figure it out, and it was probably a good 20 minutes after until I was like, listen to Spotify again. I'm like, so I had to go back.
Well, maybe you should link us the songs.
yeah, never know, right? So that's going to be out in the fall. Are you going to be submitting to festivals, or just do the regular release kind of rigmarole?
Yeah, it depends on like, I guess who's presenting it exactly, but it would be cool to do a couple of little tour stops maybe, and screen it and stuff. And
find see if you can find kind of those smaller tours that does little films like that. IF3, come on up to Whistler. We'll put it in IF3 for you guys. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. And I'm super stoked as well. I've just signed with Arterix, so
right.
Hopefully they'll support as well. So
there you go. And you gotta come up to their home office is here in North Vancouver.
Yeah. Right.
So this is another excuse to come up.
Yeah.
They had a big event during IF3 last year, and MSP. Is during IF3. We showed the MSP film the last couple of IF3s here in Whistler. They might do it again, so that's all the more reason for you to hop on a plane in October.
Yeah.
Get on up here.
We'll see.
All right, so we've got to get back to the skiing a little bit. We talked a lot about the films, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about. Back to Freeride World Tour. Bunch of years on tour. You went for it as you always did. Didn't quite work out for you this year, and you didn't quite make the cut. What are your thoughts on that? How are you? How is that sitting with you? Because I know, as I was mentioned. Oh, sorry to interrupt you after asking you a question.
That's all good.
Right. So you've been on tour for a long time, and that transition we just talked about. Right. You're filming with MSP. You're doing your own thing right now. Would there and you ski didn't quite work out for you this year. Didn't quite work out for a lot of people on the tour this year. A lot of big names didn't really kind of make the cut. Where are you mentally with that?
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky year, and I think you kind of see that with some of the guys that are off the tour, and for me it's been a tricky one for sure. My runs were all pretty random, and I was kind of crashing in places that I wouldn't usually, just kind of getting hung up, or just things not quite clicking, and it was strange because I felt good on my skis in one or two of them, and then things wouldn't work out. But often it's just like the little things, and doesn't take much for one or two things to go wrong in a row, and all of a sudden you've got 2 or 3 results in a row that are crashes. And when you've got 3 events to make a cut, if you have some bad luck, that's it. And
it's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. Like, you just make a couple small mistakes and you're like, oh no.
So it's also tricky, like the venues and conditions haven't catered
right
to the kind of skiing that I want to show, so that's been tough as well. And I think
the last couple of years haven't really been kind snow wise to the tour. And in the past, like, I've always kind of cruised through the cut and it not been too big of a thing. And this year I'm really fortunate now to have other avenues to like show my skiing and keep pushing progression, but I kind of felt like I was ready to take a break anyway from competing. And and that's what I wanted to ask you about, is that transition.
Well, I guess it is a transition, and it's kind of moving to another phase, but I still enjoy competing, and I compete on my bike, and I don't have any problem with competitions themselves, but I think it'll be nice for me to take a break and then maybe come back to competing when it suits me and things align a bit better.
Right. So, missing the cut was probably bittersweet. You've been on the tour for so many years. That's kind of how you set up your winters. That's what you know to expect. You've got that. It's routine. And now that you've been putting this time in, well, I guess it's in the summertime, our summer, your winter, with the Kiwi film stuff. But now filming with MSP, getting a lot more like opportunities in North America for that. Eventually, they were going to start butting heads, anyways.
Yeah, well, I guess I was lucky. Last year I competed and filmed, and this year was doing the same thing. But I think it was time as well for me to kind of step back, at least for this year, and just focus on filming. It was just it's kind of
like a silver lining, or it's like it's not how you would have chosen to make. It was a choice that was made for you that caters to what you're doing, anyways.
I'd definitely say something along those lines, and I'm super grateful and content with myself and what I'm doing, and fortunate to be in that position. So can't complain.
What are you gonna miss?
Just the people. I'd say the people and the places. That's always been a huge draw card for me, and the tour's been an incredible part of my career. And like you say, it's for 5-6 years. It's just been what I plan my winter around, and I'm so thankful for it. But I'm also really excited. Like, it's been a big chunk of time, and I've put a lot of time and energy into it. So I'm excited for a little bit of change as well. I think it's pretty important to mix it up.
And as I was saying at the beginning of the show, that's kind of the route that a lot of the Freeride World Tour athletes have taken in the past 15 years. Is you spend 3, 4, 5 years on the tour, and then move on to the next stage of your career, next stage of your life. Like last week we had Jeremy Heights on the show. Same thing, right? Look what he's been able to do. And now you're kind of in that you're set up for that as well. You got some great sponsors that you were mentioning. You got Arc'teryx now, who is really putting a lot of effort into free riding in the last couple of years with guys like Cole and Cooch and Tatum and yourself, et cetera. So that's kind of exciting.
It's an honor, honestly.
And when I heard that you and Cooch and Logan were on a trip together, but what was the other company?
It was Northern Escape
earlier this season. And I was like, oh my god, it's like the Assassins like conference. I was like, holy smokes. I'm like, just give them the best big mountain award now.
Well, unfortunately we got struck it bad with weather and we were fogged out for a whole week. But still some good shots. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the movie.
Are you, so over the course of the last month or so, you've been in BC doing some filming, you've been to sledding, what have you been up to?
So I've been based in Innsbruck, and then I've been here for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I was shooting with Logan and Adma and MSP on the coast here, having a crack at sledding, which has been super fun. And then I went to an Arc'teryx shoot in Interior, and then tomorrow Finlay and I fly up to Terra, and we're gonna do some shooting up there with MSP.
Exciting. How was it skiing with Adma? Had you ever met him before?
I'd met him a couple times, and it's awesome. He's such a legend and nice guy, and I think it's incredible his attitude and perspective and how long he's been doing it for.
And Logan?
Logan's awesome. He's been such a big support and help for me, kind of,
especially with
getting
the sledding.
into it. Especially with sledding, and he's just really onto it, and I don't know where I'd be without him.
I didn't even know you were in town because you came to the Challenger event. And I was going to ask you, and like, I'm not going to talk about the Challengers because like you said, if you wanted to keep going, you would have done the Challenger tour, right? But you're like, okay, now's the decision's made for me. Now I'm going to kind of move on to this next stage. But I was announcing the Challengers here, and I was talking about you. And I think I said some nice things just because, I like you. And I'm like, oh, Craig Murray, blah, blah, blah. And I stepped out around the corner. And you're standing right there. And I was like, dude, I didn't say that up because I knew you were there. So I hope that wasn't too much for you.
No dramas.
All right. So back to pranks.
Yeah.
All right. You said that you were living in Innsbruck. So you have a van.
Yeah.
And then while you were off Freeride World Touring in Spain, Andorra, your buddies... Back in Innsbruck, had the van?
No, so I was actually in Canada filming.
So you're in Canada.
And they, thought that it'd be super nice and give me a present for when I came back. And they got like a 2 meter by 2 meter decal. They found this portrait photo of me, like looking pretty cheesy, with my arms crossed. They put flames coming up below it, and then a quote on it: Craig Murray, extreme skier. Ich habe einen Steifen, and
which translates to,
which I'm sure there's some German speakers out there, but translates to I've got a stiff one. And I came back and they'd set up cameras and everything, and they just fully got me. Like I was loading my gear into the van and just see my van with this massive decal on it.
This big giant sticker of you on your own van.
It was one of the best pranks we've ever been a part of, that's for sure. And we rolled it on there for a few days in Austria and got some pretty bad looks, and went to Junior World Champs.
You did actually have him. He had it on the van in Andorra because I saw it on there. That's right.
Yeah, so we kind of had.
Is it still on there?
No, but we took it down to the Pyrenees, to Spain and Andorra for a few weeks, and then luckily there weren't as many German speakers down there, so it was more acceptable, and a lot of people actually thought it was serious. Like I was getting asked at the World Tour, like, like nice van, or like why'd you put that on your van and stuff. I just felt like, really, you think like I would put my face on the side of my van? Anyway,
I hope they put it on the bus.
No,
Can you imagine?
I hope not.
He's like,
it'd be a big face. Lots of real estate to work with in that thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's amazing. That's why I remembered it. I thought a photo, but I actually saw it in person, and it was amazing. Do you have the footage from that?
There's actually just put on YouTube. There's a episode we made which has it all in it.
Have you guys
Team
been
Useless?
Have you been doing Team Useless YouTube stuff all season?
We did one episode. Jamesa's bought a dad cam, and there's a pretty good episode out there. So check out MFC NZ on YouTube.
MFC
NZ New Zealand.
What does MFC stand for?
A bunch of different things. Really, there's it's like just a group with a bunch of misfits from New Zealand.
Team Useless. You guys have a lot of inside jokes, and I like it. This film that's coming up next year is going to be Terra Incognito. Stay tuned to this channel because we'll help promote that for you. If it's anything as good as Highway 73 was, I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing it actually all put together, devoid of the mariachi music that I was talking about before. For everybody listening, go check that out. You can get it on. Can you get it on YouTube? Where can they find it?
We'll see.
73.
Oh, 73 or
Yeah.
It's on Red Bull TV.
It's on Red Bull TV, and
Red
it will
Bull TV,
be
yeah.
on YouTube as well soon.
Awesome. Yeah, go watch that. It's super awesome. Thanks for coming, boys.
Yeah,
thanks for
thank
having
you.
us.
I know you got a lot going on in the next couple weeks, and sounds like you just got a lot going on in life.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say about that. we already talked for an hour.
Oh, we're busy, man. We're busy.
All right. Well, anyways, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thank
Always
you.
good to see
Thank
you,
you, man.
Craig. Nice to meet you, Finn.
Likewise.
And everybody go watch Highway 73, and then follow Craig on Instagram. Are you on the gram as well?
Yeah.
Finlay Woods.
Finlay Woods.
Yeah.
00.
Fantastic. All right, boys. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching this video on the LPP YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And while you're here, you may as well watch this great LPP highlights video. Thanks.